Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. Jake is gone gallivanting in Europe, but we got someone much better in his seat. It's Jomboy.
Hello.
You got to pitch to me. Keith Armstrong, World Baseball Classic.
Wow.
Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball Offseason Edition, Super Team Edition. I don't know what you want to call it, but we do have a special guest gracing us with his presence. You guys all know and love him and miss him a ton. That is Jimmy O'Brien, a.k.a. Jomboy, a.k.a. the Boss Man. I appreciate you coming on today. I know you're a little under the weather, but other than that, how you feeling, man?
Yes, my voice might sound different to many. No voice. I'm all right. You know, I wake up feeling like awful. I got 3 kids and the cold's going through. We had a big warehouse shoot, and then it fades. So like in like an hour or two, I'm going to feel great. And then at night, it's, classic sickness.
The warehouse gets everybody. It's just part of it. You got to suck it up and just get through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're going into it with something like battling a cold and going to the warehouse, it's only going to get worse. I do want to give a shout out to our guy, Jake. I've been semi-texting him. He's in Italy, just kind of like doing his thing. He said he might never come back, but everyone always says that when they travel abroad.
I was texting him, catching up. He did. Seeing what cities he's going to.
It doesn't matter where you go in Italy. That's my hottest take. Just go there and you're going to have a good time.
There's places in Italy that you go because you have to go, but if you were to do a second trip, and I'm talking about Venice, I mean that's just like a town on garbage water. Like it's really, when you get there,
you're out on Venice.
Yeah, dude. Like
I never went to Venice.
The beautiful like movies and pictures, that's not Venice. It's just like smelly. They've cleaned it up a lot lately, but for like years, they would just throw their garbage in that water. It's like 3 feet deep. Think about a flood, right?
Uh-huh.
Your city floods, and there's stuff just running in the water. That's not romantic. That's not cool.
I'm thinking like water taxis and maybe a gondola here and there, but no.
Yeah. When I went, that's what we thought, and then we were like, "This is gross."
Maybe we should start a travel show. I'd be down for that.
But I wanted him to go to Pompeii. Pompeii's crazy. That's cool, and Florence is really nice.
You would love Pompeii. The story of Pompeii is nuts. I actually read it to my kids. I have this like book, like kind of like
terribly
summarizes
scary.
it.
Yeah.
They were scared of that for many, many nights afterwards.
Pompeii's really
cool. So you just had a baby. Congratulations. You're doing your part to repopulate our society. Baby Frank joins Claire and James. You took a little bit of time off. And again, I think this is for people who are like tuning in. I think I'm just going to kind of like pseudo interview you today because I do think people really miss having you on the channel. So I want to catch them up on what's going on with you. Again, you just welcome baby Frank, and how's that dynamic going between those 3?
It's good. So I have James just turned 4, Claire's 2, and now we have a 1-month-old. It's easier in a sense because I can't really help out with the newborn. So like Katie's been doing newborn at night, and I got to get sleep because at 6 a.m. I got 2 toddlers running into my bedroom, and I got to do like the morning. So then I grab Frankie, give him a bottle, get him down, and then I'm doing the morning shift with the kids, which is
like
fun.
The San Francisco Giants. Every 2 years, you win something big.
Yes. Every time we have a kid, the Yankees early exit from the postseason. It's bad news.
Are we done? Too personal to ask?
No. I mean, I want a big family. I like when the kids outnumber the parents. That's what I always said because I grew up with 3 and then 4, and we would like, well, fuck mom and dad, yeah, and like that bonded us, And I feel like when there's 2, sometimes you just kind of like me and dad and her and mom, and you just kind of split up. So I like have a little gang.
It was 3 and then 4. Like Luke
I was 10 when Luke. I call them. I can't stop calling them their same names. When my brother was born, I was 10 years old. So I wasn't like raised with 4 kids.
Yeah, and now he's just crushing in the floorball arena for you.
Yeah.
Was he the best athlete
growing up?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because I was 10 years old, I never let him win.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
For people who have kids.
People used to get scared at how hard I would hit him ground balls when he was 7. I remember another coach being like, chill out. And I'm like, he's fielding them.
Yeah.
You chill out.
I love it. I had the same interaction with my brother. I never beat my brother until I did.
Well, yeah, most professional athletes are younger siblings. I read a report on that at one point. That most are younger siblings because they have to catch up.
They have to catch up. I know. Yeah. Hey guys, this episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. MLB may be over, but the NFL is in full swing, and NBA and NHL are ramping up. With SeatGeek, the MLB's official ticket marketplace, your tickets are fully guaranteed and instantly fulfilled in your account after purchase. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek. You got concerts, you got sports, you got festivals, you got more, a ton of stuff on there. Right now, you can get tickets to the NFL, NBA, NHL, not to mention, like I said, concerts and other events. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know if you're getting a good deal. Just look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. So easy, even Jake can do it. I actually just got tickets on SeatGeek. I'm going up to Seattle for an NFL game. They're playing my favorite team, that LA team. That's in December. So easy to get tickets. It was an awesome experience. And we had to come through for you guys, our listeners. You can use code Talkin10. That's TALKIN 10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code Talkin10. All right, let's get into a little bit of baseball talk. I have a set list of questions. We might meander off of it. Last night we had the AL and the NL MVP awards given. Now the NL MVP was going to be Shohei. It's his 4th in a row. And then the AL MVP, which I think was the biggest discussion of any of the major awards, really came down to the wire. Cal Raleigh versus Aaron Judge. I believe Aaron Judge ended up getting 17 first place votes to Cal's 13, and they vice versa that for the second place vote. So it was a lot closer. I want to start with the NL MVP. I'm going to Chris Rose you a little bit. It's been Shohei Ohtani, 4th award. Only Barry Bonds has more than him. Like, are you okay with just giving him the award year after year after year? And if so, what does it take for him to not win the award?
Well, one year he didn't win it in the AL when he did pitch and hit, but he was a very good hitter. Remember what year was that? He had an 800 OPS, but his pitching wasn't amazing, or he didn't have enough innings. I don't know what it was.
So he won the award 21, and then he got MVP 2 to Judge in 2022.
Yeah. So
after that he's won them every year.
He pitched that year as well in 22, right? Like he did both. Because I was wondering, some people would think he's never gonna, as long as he does both, he's gonna win it. But he has lost it while doing both.
It was because it was Aaron Judge year.
Yes, yeah.
That was the year Aaron Judge hit 60, right?
Yes, but I mean all of Judge's stats.
Yes, we'll get to Judge.
Yeah.
He was Cy Young 4 that year, and MVP 2 in 2022. But he won it in 21, 23, 24, and now 25.
And this year, I mean, he came back and pitched, but he didn't pitch the whole year. It's just his offense is incredible.
I think that's what
he led the league
in him.
What's that?
I think that's what people don't realize about him. 2024 he didn't pitch at all, and he went 54-59. Him and Judge are the 2 best hitters in baseball over the last 3 years, and really there's nobody even close to those 2.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this today. This is a derailment, so maybe, but whatever. The NBA has had stars forever. LeBron has been doing it for 20 years. Steph Curry became a star. When those guys fade out, they don't have your aunt who is in a knitting club and doesn't watch a single second of sport but knows the name star. Baseball didn't have that in between Jeter and Ohtani. And now baseball has 2 marquee players. If I ask my Aunt Frances, who I always use, name a baseball player. For years, she would have just said Jeter, and I'd be like, he's not playing anymore. And she'd be like, I don't know. Trout never became what Ohtani and Judge have come. And the NBA, they're kind of losing. All their stars are more international players that my Aunt Frances doesn't know. Now, obviously, if you're a sports fan, you know a lot of everybody players. Sports fans are always way too in the weeds. Someone told me Paul Skeens is a huge name. I'm like, dude, not if you don't watch sports. if you watch sports, you know who he is. But I'm talking like Tiger Woods, Serena, Ohtani is on that level.
Oh, 100%. I agree, and I don't think Judge is on that level.
Not Ohtani yet, but I think he's kind of getting there. If he was in the World Series again this year, I think he would have. Like, World Series makes the reach the World Series has is more than double what the ALCS has. It's
need
crazy.
to market Judge as like his size. That's what I always say. Like, he needs to be like marketed as a monster because that's what he is. You just see him on the field. He's so much bigger than everyone. I think that transcends. People love massive guys. So I think he needs to do that. But I do think it's great for baseball that they're in, and people are going to hate that I say this. I think it's great that they're in two of the biggest markets. I mean, that helps so much. And the Yankees drafted and developed Judge.
Yes.
I'm going to throw this out at Chris Rose right after we do this interview. Do you know Judge's career minor league OPS?
900.
It's 854.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened to this guy, dude? I know he made some mechanical adjustments, but holy shit.
He made a ton of mechanical adjustments. And he told the Yankees to fuck off. This is the
teacher man freaking victory lap right now.
Yeah, he came up in 2016 and struggled and then realized I have to change if I want to stay here. And told the Yankees, there's a famous article and quote where he told the Yankees around the batting cage, like, this is what I'm doing. If you're not helping me, get away. And he went to Teacher Man. But Teacher Man's methods really work if you have the power that he can generate.
See, that's Caleb Durbin is a Teacher Man guy. There's a lot of guys that go. So I'm not a huge Teacher Man guy per se, but the swing can work for people.
Durbin goes? It's wild.
Yeah, Caleb Durbin does it. So Judge, I have no problem with him winning the MVP every single year because what he's doing offensively. I don't think people understand just how much better he has been than everybody else. Also, career OPS is a 1 dot. The only active player that has that. He's an absolute menace, man. And I actually hate the fact that people keep talking about him like, well, he hasn't won anything. Like, you don't say that about Ted Williams. You don't say that about Barry Bonds. You don't say that about Ken Griffey Jr. Like, it's such a sport that is not a one-person sport. So I hope people get over that. I love that Judge and Ohtani are doing this. And guess what? If you want to take these guys out, like, be better than them. But it's very difficult to be better than these two guys.
I mean, you got to win at some point. And last year having such a bad postseason, like, that hurts. Like, that he would, like, Vladdy didn't win, but Vladdy, like, showed up like crazy. Judge postseason numbers, which I don't even think you should look at it this way, but his overall postseason numbers now are good. I mean, he's got a 822 OPS. That's pretty good. And he did have good postseasons in 2018, 2019. It was just the last couple were brutal. So he helped that. He's so good. It's crazy how good he is. I mean, the dude hit 50 home runs and won the batting title. That is more impressive than anything. I'm glad he won. I had more skin in the game than I ever thought I would because while I appreciate what Cal Raleigh did, I think it was manufactured debate in a way. Like, I'm biased as shit, so I can't really control it, but, like, no one is, like, I know the catcher position is special, but, like, no one's ever been like, oh, you hit 50, you hit the most home runs a second baseman ever hit. That's the MVP. It's like, it's never been used before.
I think you hit it. It's the catcher position, and I believe in that. The catcher fatigue, second half legs.
But people were saying, like, switch hitting, like, he's got the most.
Switch
that doesn't matter at all. That means nothing, dude. Because other players hit lefty pitchers and righty pitchers better than him. Like, it's just irrelevant.
Yeah, I don't love the switch hitter like stuff. Like, to me, number one, it should give you the platoon advantage. I know it's a little bit, you have to do a little bit more work, and people can get frustrated with that work. But, like, you chose that, dude. Stop. The catcher argument is the biggest one for me. I even said during the year, and this was back in June or July, I said if he hits 60, I think you got to give it to him. And then he hit 60, and then I still think Judge should have won it. and again, I'm a big proponent of catchers hitting and how crazy difficult that is. And he handles, and he's not just like a hitting catcher. That's the other argument too. He's like he's legitimately won a platinum glove at the position. So he has the best case to overtake Judge, and he didn't get it done this year. So that's on the honestly, like if people are mad about that, that's on the writers.
If the award was more like what it was when Gibson won in 1980, whatever that was, like that was the last time they awarded MVP to not the best statistical season, but the guy who helped his team the most. I don't know what that year is that Gibson won it with the Dodgers, I think. 88. Like, go look at if you pull up on Base Reference, they have like the stats. Like, he didn't have the best season, but they were like, if he wasn't with this team, they don't do what they do. If that was the way it was, then I think Cal should get it. It should be much closer. And this is a big debate I had, not a debate I had with Rose, but an answer, because you guys were debating Judge or Jeter. And I said, well, Jeter could win you games in many more ways than Judge can. Judge has 4 shots. He has 4 at-bats. His defense is good, but it's not otherworldly. We're like, Jeter was playing shortstop. He could make some plays there. And Jeter was bunting the runners. He did what like the game called for way more. So I agree. Like, Cal could help his team win day in, day out. He affected many more parts of the game. But the award forever has been best statistical season, and Judge had that.
This video is brought to you by Shopify. Shopify is the best place to start and grow a business, which is why we partner with them here at Jomboy Media. Jomboy Media has relaunched our merch store on Shopify with our new /line site. And it was a dream. We brought the ideas, and Shopify brought the execution. As you're shopping our new launch, check out what Shopify can do for you. Life really is a home run when you have Shopify on your side. Shopify Sidekick, Shopify Magic, and the suite of AI tools are a total game changer. It's revolutionizing the way you can build and manage a business. You'll have your own AI assistant guiding you on everything. Directions, reports, editing images, content ideas. Shopify's got your next move covered. If you want to be like us and start building your brand from the ground up, it's time to go over to Shopify and start your trial today. Click that link, shopify.com/Talkin, if you're ready to leave the amateurs and head over to the big leagues. Let's move on from this, because I think we can just get in the weeds on those discussions. But I think we both agree that they got it right. NL was a no-brainer. Ohtani's going to win it forever.
4th unanimous.
It's crazy. Unanimous.
It's 4th time.
The guy behind him, the guy that had the most juice to beat him, was a DH. I mean, I love Kyle Schwarber. He's an absolute stud. I want him on my team. But you can't compare a DH to a DH that had arguably similar or better statistics and also is a pitcher. Let's talk about our deal with Major League Baseball. I know you've touched on it on some of your channels, but I think people here, Jake and I talk about it, but we're dumb. Like, you're smarter than us. What do you think has been the biggest thing that's happened so far with our deal with Major League Baseball?
A lot of the benefits that we were like very excited for are back of house benefits, right? Like just introductions to other worlds, or getting to put MLB marks on our merchandise, which hasn't come to fruition yet because it's just a long process with so many moving parts. Selling like Jomboy Media and Dodger shirts, or both logos available. That will happen over time. So, just having a little more freedom and lack of worry to do what we're doing and make videos and access. But yeah, they welcomed like all resources to us, which is huge. So something I was hoping for, but it was kind of like a back end benefit that, if they were like, no, we still would have done the deal, because helping out the sales and the introductions and just like the partnerships was so huge, was like full access to archival content. Like if you watch Jolly Olive's series, he gets to use all this archival footage now that just isn't available to the public. That's all. I've done breakdowns, and I'm going to continue to do breakdowns in the off season of like old footage, as well as we have footage that no one else has. So if you've seen the breakdowns I've been doing in the postseason, and I was on paternity, so I didn't get to do a lot, I have more coming. And usually I would flip the page and be like, done with baseball. Let's do offseason stuff because I just like moving forward always. But I have all these shots from the CS and the World Series that no one else has. Like footage, the broadcast shot, but no one else has. So I'm like, well, it's like kind of like we have to use this.
That's so right up your alley.
Yeah.
It's right up
And
your
I didn't
alley.
know that. I didn't know we were going to get like that, which is amazing. And I just feel like that's what we're supposed to be doing, is letting the audience see the cool stuff that they don't always catch. And now we have even more. Like, see this shot, the broadcast never showed that shot of Robleski shit talking Jimenez all the way through. Like they cut back and forth. So the breakdown would have had segments. This shot was never seen of Bo's reaction to it. This is like the broadcast doesn't have time to show everything. And then like these shots of fans in full. So that's been really cool. Like that's fun. I didn't think we were going to get much out of it that serves our audience directly. Do you know what I mean? Like besides just our ability to keep growing and go new places. But like this is awesome for the people that enjoy the breakdowns and footage.
If I was to, well, first of all, I mean, I never thought this was going to happen. Early on in the days, at least when I got there, I believe I came on in 2019, I think it was.
Yeah.
We didn't battle with Major League Baseball, but we definitely weren't like welcomed in necessarily. I think that there were times where they kind of were like, all right, like let's let them do their things. There's also times where they didn't let us do our thing. And
they hindered a
when,
lot on the back end. Their
yeah.
prerogative, I guess. They got a monopoly legally.
Yeah, but it's a partnership that makes so much sense that I'm glad it finally got done.
Well, yeah. They wanted it to happen. It was attempted to happen on what we considered non-starter terms for 4 years. So every year they would send people our way, and it was like, no, we're not going until we meet. This is who we talk to about it, and like this is the situation, and we have really big support on that side, on their side, that like finally it went through. But yes, we said no for years, and it limited a lot of stuff. We were supposed to have a show on ESPN during the Home Run Derby, and it got taken away from us because MLB was like, no.
If I was to ask you what like your biggest like thought or dream of this deal would be in the future, like the biggest thing you could think of that could happen from this deal, what do you think it is? Is it being like alternate broadcast? Is it being on a desk at the Home Run Derby? Is it more than that? Like
Well,
maybe you
I
don't want
know
to share it. I don't know.
Jake has interest in doing like alt broadcasts and more like studio stuff. I personally have never. I think that's always been a bit of a bummer for Jake that I have no interest and he does. I just want to keep doing what I'm doing and have like the freedom to do it, or see if this allows, we've already had other leagues and other sports reach out and be like, hey, we'd love to do this. Like we'll offer you rights, and we're kind of just not really set up yet, but that's kind of cool. Like it is groundbreaking partnership. Like it's no league has partnered with a media company in this way. That's like fan driven. Like they don't own us at all. We got no money. They bought out other investors.
I don't think people realize that.
No, because
we joke about it all the time. Because me and Jake are like, "Where's our money?"
Yeah, people are like, "You got MLB money now, or MLB owns you." It's like, well, they have a minority stake in the company, but they bought out early investors who got a nice return because they invested on us when we were just two kids in a garage, basically. But yeah, they didn't. There was no influx of cash.
I'm gonna ask myself the same question, and I don't really have a good answer for it. But I truly believe this should be a deal that sparks many more of these deals throughout all major sports. I mean, content led media companies like have done so much for these sports. I think it's only right to kind of like sync the two up. It's difficult to do I guess, kind of what we've done and have a true community that we actually care about and
Yeah.
have actually built it and have true support there. Um, so you can't just manufacture that for these leagues. So
No, it's not
if
scale.
you
It's not
can do
scalable.
that, I think the two work perfectly together. So I
Well,
hope I'm hoping it does that throughout different sports as well.
yeah. Not it's
Golf
not
has done it.
Yeah, golf has done it really well. I mean, there's other obviously Barstool led the way with this type of media company, and they're huge. They did it by burning bridges, and they grew upon the ashes of the bridges they burnt. And that is, I'm not knocking it at all because it's been crazy successful for them, and now they have like barged their way into Fox and like establishment. But that I knew that that's just not who Jake and I were. So we had written on the walls like, "Don't burn a relationship until don't burn a bridge that's not built yet." Like, and that's a credit to why we were able to like partner in full, because even though we had like disputes or gripes or like didn't like things and were like butting heads, we never publicly, burnt any bridge, and we try not to anywhere. That's just that's just who we are. So it's tough. But also, like, a lot of people would say, let's go get a show for every MLB team right away. But that has been, Barstool tried that early on. Locked On, it does it, and a couple other companies have done that. But we have such a real community and a tone that we like, that once you do that, it's impossible to make sure. Like, if you listen, I hate that I'm using their name, but if you listen to some Lockdown podcasts, they're amazing. If you listen to others, you're like, whoa, this is way different quality and tone than that one, because they just have they just pick up hosts. But that's not what we want to do. We don't want to just become a network of isolated shows that have no connection in tone, brand, quality, or like team. Like, I don't just want a show in Arizona covering the Diamondbacks, but we don't know those kids. They don't know us. We never really worked together. Like, that's not what our vision is for what the company is.
Yeah, Jake never really yells at me. He yelled at me after I put out a tweet saying, I would love to have a Dodgers show. And he just was like, you don't think we thought about that? I'm like, all right, my bad. I'm just putting it out there. I wanted to see who's out there, okay? But I mean, I agree with you.
I mean, would love to have a Dodgers show too, but they'd have to be people that are doing other stuff in our orbit, not just an isolated show that we can't really interact with.
I got a lot of DMs and suggestions, and
we
Jake's
get a lot all the time.
Please stop doing that. I said, okay, that's my bad. All right, we got caught up in the moment.
I'm always trying to be honest. Like, dude, if you want to do it, I'm never going to hire you to start a show if that's the only thing you think you're going to do, if you're not already doing it.
Yes. Today's episode is sponsored by Best Western Hotel and Resorts. Life's a trip, so why not make the most of it? With over 4,000 hotels worldwide, Best Western is there for every detour, destination, and unexpected turn along the way. Whether you're hitting the road, traveling for work, or chasing the next big game, there's a room waiting for you. But a great stay isn't just about rest. It's about what comes next. And a great stay doesn't just help you recharge. It sets the tone for the early wake up, the late night arrival, or the last minute change of plans. Best Western gets it. Traveling isn't one size fits all. It's for the planners and the procrastinators, the loyalty point collectors, and the I just booked it crowd. I'm more in the loyalty point collectors crowd. My wife, the I just booked it crowd. It's for both of us. So whether you're traveling solo, with your friends, or with the entire roster, Best Western has you covered. So pack your bag, cue up the playlist, hit the road. Life's a trip. Make the most of it at bestwestern.com. Let's talk about another, I guess, a pivot point, but not really a pivot point because you're so invested in it already before we even were doing content with it, and that is cricket. You're truly, truly inspired by the game of cricket, and I think that's why what we're getting into is going to be successful, because we as a company are, well, you definitely have a real interest in it, and you're really rubbing off on everybody else. And the more and more I've gotten to know the game, the more and more I've really enjoyed it. But we started a cricket channel. It's called It's Cricket.
That's
you
cricket.
The merch on That's Cricket. I'm sorry. I had it written down wrong. You had the merch on right now.
Yes.
I guess
So we
Give the
have
fans why we're doing this and what it's about.
the show. We have a Trev. His name's Liam Plunkett, Pudsey, handsome, Northern Ireland World Cup winning bowler for England, and a co-host Adam, who's from Australia, super fan, lives in there. They are, and Adam looks like me.
He's way more handsome than me. This is bullshit.
Yeah, dude, he's a handsome guy, and
What the-
and he's awesome. And Adam looks like me, has the energy of Jake.
This is like AI. Me and Jake are. What the heck?
Me and you, yeah, because me and Adam look a lot alike. People have been joking about that a lot. But hey, hear me out if you're at home right now, especially if you're on the West Coast, because the time zones help you out for this one. If you're, not huge into football, into NBA, if you just really like the pace of baseball, the bat and ball, and the storylines. If you enjoy watching golf or like the Masters, like something that you can really dig into, that's 4 days, or a 7-game series, and you're like, I wish it was 9. I really like the storylines and the matchups, because the version of cricket that's about to start, it's called the Ashes. The Ashes is it's like the Masters meets the Olympics between Australia and England. So basically, it's called the Ashes because they play for an urn. That's the trophy. Because you'll love this. The first time Australia went to England, way back in the day, you would do a tour because you would take the boat, take months to get there, a month to get there, and then you would go across the country playing cricket matches. So you would, hit Northern England, you hit London, you'd hit, all the big cities, so people could see the Australian team play the England team. So they call it a tour still. So Australia just fucking kicked England's ass, but it's like 1880s or something. And the reporter said, our boys are coming back, and they not only did they kill the boys from England, they're bringing their ashes back on the boat. Like, that's how much they killed them, they burned them, and they're bringing their ashes back. So then 2 years later, England goes to Australia, and the writer from England says, we're sending our boys to receive the ashes. And that was the headline. So that's why it's called the Ashes, which is just awesome, like etymology or a background story. I love it. So it's every other year. It would be in England for their summer and then in Australia. So it's in Australia for the summer this year. They play a test match, which is up to 5 days of cricket. And so if you really like chewing on storylines and sport, Russell Crowe was on Joe Rogan recently saying, like, once you watch a full test match and like are into it, you won't find sports like that anywhere else. And it's very true. Like, I got into it last year where I started watching these, and you don't, it's like the Masters. You don't watch every ball pitched or bowled. You kind of have moments. Like, I tweeted out, how do I watch test cricket when I got into this? And they're like, the first hour, you got to pay attention because it's a fresh ball, so it's moving fast. And like, if the batters get out early, it's huge. But if they survive, you're like, oh, strap in. And then you can kind of like have it on the radio while you do your yard work or just check in. And then you're like, we'll know when big moments are. But the amount of storylines that come out of it, like this batter versus this bowler, oh, here they come again. Like, it's moments. It's like, oh, well, here's Rory on, Eamon corner now. Like, this is the tough one. He's struggled. Like, it's just like watching the Masters, I think. We have moments where, like, let's perk in. We're like, okay, I don't need to watch him do, hole 14 through 19.
I think that's why a lot of people are hesitant because Americans, speak for us as a country, have heard just how long these matches can be. And, I think the way you're explaining it makes it really appetizing to people. Do these guys really hate each other? Because that's what I enjoy. Is there a true, like, sick rivalry?
I think they're friends because of international cricket, but there's no love lost like in the field. I mean, cricket's weird because the two batters are in the middle of a circle surrounded by the opponents, just getting chirped and shit talk the whole time. And they have no one else out there. So like, if you're batting, you're surrounded, you're in the middle and like, gladiator style. So, there was big controversy last Ashes that I did a video on where they like, kind of did a sneaky, like almost a hidden ball trick-esque where they were like, that's against the unwritten rules. They call it the spirit of the game. And then they didn't, like, they were like mad at each other in the lunchroom. How it breaks down is you go out, you play for 2 hours and you break for an hour You play for 2 hours, break for an hour, play for 2 hours. And that's the structure. So it can be over in 3 days. It doesn't always go the 5 days. But we will be live streaming the first session of the first test. And I'm going to be joining those guys for it. And it's 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, so it'd be 6:30 California time, which is better because I'm not going to be able to watch the next two. Australia time zone's tough.
I think social media will help because, number one, I will say this. I think a lot of people, fans, sports fans in our country, uh, I'm one of them. I like players, even when I was a little kid. This isn't just because I was a player. Like, even when I was a little kid, I didn't really have teams. Like, I like players. I like watching these guys who I like to watch. Some of these cricket dudes, the guys that we've met, and I haven't even met some of like the big superstars. I guess I kind of have. They're badass. Like, they're awesome. So, like, if you get introduced to these guys and like their, the way they play, their attitude, the bravado, I think you can get into it that way. Because that kind of got me. We are Americans, so we think we're better than everybody. So I think our sports are the best. You get around these dudes and like they're just as cocky, just as fun, just as talented. And once you realize that, I think it helps you like kind of get into the game.
Baseball, is my number one sport, obviously. Baseball is better for American audience because we rotate innings as often as we do. It feels fast. The main sport, T20, like I do think that it's their fastest version of cricket, and it's the most popular in all the South Asian countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Love it, but it is way slower than cricket as a fan. Like, we went to a game in Barbados, and even I was like, you bring people to a movie, and they're like, dude, I'm like, man, they got to speed this up somehow. The slow version, Test cricket, that I'm talking about right now, the Ashes, is very slow. But that is, I think, it's much more like baseball, even though it's drawn out. Like, because you can understand what's going on. Like, you have to get the other team out 10 times. It's a 2-inning game, and but the batter hits until he's out. So he could just rack up ground rule double. 4 is worth 4. A home run is worth 6. If they hit it on the ground, they can run the runs, and he just goes until he's out. So you cannot win unless you get the other team out 20 times. Their whole 10-man batting lineup, you need to get all of them out. So when a team is down like by a lot and there's no way they're going to score enough runs to win, they just try to drag it out and be like, well, we're not going to let you win though. So they just play defense, and you would consider it bunting, but they're just blocking it. But then all the defenders swarm them. So you just have to like bunt this ball, but you have the 9 other players fucking in your face chirping you, and you have to survive. So like that, like the highlight alone gets posted, and people are like, what is the bunting competition? And I get that, but the context of the game is like, well, holy smokes, this is heightened drama.
All right, everyone go follow That's Cricket. Check out all the social pages. You can tell, obviously, Jimmy's very passionate, and it is rubbing off on all of us. Guys, it's fall, and fall always feels like a reset. Between back to school, busier routines, and shorter days, finding the time to cook can be really, really tough. That's why I love Factor. Their chef-prepped, dietitian-approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious, no matter how hectic the season gets. More variety, more meals. Choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices or savor global flavors with new Asian-inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and more. That sounds delicious. Asian food is by far my favorite. We have Factor here in the office and at my home. They are the best thing for those busy days when I don't have a lot of time. I'm doing a lot of shows all the time. I don't always have time to prep. But if you still want something to power you through the day, Factor is what you need to reach for. Eat smart at factormeals.com/talkin50off and use code talkin50off to get, guess what? 50% off your first box plus a free breakfast for 1 year. That's code talkin50off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's a ridiculous deal. So go run and do that. And get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offers only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. You mentioned something that I think people are going to really find probably the most interesting thing we're going to talk about today. You mentioned baseball started out as a hooligan sport. Spitting, still a thing.
Yep.
When we opened Target Field, we got a letter from this committee because part of it was publicly funded that they did not want us to spit in the dugout because that's disrespectful to public funds. I was like, all right, like that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Spitting, and then you also mentioned gambling, which
Yeah.
this sport has I don't want to call it a storied history of gambling, but I think there is, a big part of our history that is about that. And now it's come into light in 2025. We have Luis Ortiz, Emmanuel Clase facing 65 years in prison. They're banned from Major League Baseball because, and if you don't know the story, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of it. In-game prop bets. You can bet on a lot of these gambling sites, strike or ball. And when a pitcher comes in for a fresh inning, you can, or really almost any pitch. I don't really do it, so I don't know exactly how, but you can bet, is this going to be a ball? Is this going to be a strike? And Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz were gaming the system, throwing balls intentionally because, they have the ability to do that and winning, somebody money, which is obviously very illegal. Obviously, and honestly, very easy to like cross reference the two with all the pitch tracking data. I've mentioned that before. It was a bad scheme from the get go, illegal scheme from the get go. I guess what's your take on it? And then I want to get into some more pertinent questions, I guess.
It sucks. I think it sucks. I think the reporting about it sucks. I think the public reaction, I think it's all misaligned. Like I think no one's being honest about any of this in a way. Like
Okay.
I've seen too much about it's $5,000. Okay, is $5,000 and a threat to his livelihood or his family's livelihood? Like he's not doing that for $5,000. What happens is you get in with these people somehow, some way, and then they threaten you. Like that's Clase is not throwing an intentional ball because he gets to pocket $5,000. Like they're positioning him as like an addict doing anything for anything. Like, no, this was from people that were threatening him. And I don't know that for sure, but if you look at the history of this, like that's kind of how it goes. They get their hooks in you, and then you're like you're threatened. So I'm not excusing their actions at all but that's like the warnings is like don't do anything. So like sometimes this starts with spot fixing, which is where you give them information that doesn't alter the outcome of the game at all. It's just like telling them the lineup before it's public because your coach texted you beforehand, or letting them know, hey, they're not going to call this game for rain delay. We will be resuming. And then they can do stuff before line change. Like spot fixing. And a lot of stories about players like in other sports around the world is they get in doing stuff like that because they're young, they're naive. They're like, well, I'm not altering the outcome of the game. Like I never lose intentional. Like that's different. But then once you do that, then they get in to you, and now they have like they can ruin your life and reputation because so that's stories that have happened elsewhere. But I find it very hard to believe they were doing this because they were like, I need that $5,000, and I feel like it shouldn't be like positioned that way at all.
So I tend to agree with you, and I mentioned this on Baseball Today, where I don't know if they still do this. I'm not in the clubhouses during spring training, but Michael Francis is the guy that I referenced on Baseball Today, a former mafia dude. He would come in and talk to us about this exact situation that you're talking about. Like, hey, like somebody just gets their hooks in you. Maybe you give them information, like you said. Maybe they find something that you did that you don't want other people to find out about, and you start getting into it, and they're able to influence outcome. We've seen it in all sports, college basketball. I mean, all sports have had this, and it's been going on for a long time. So, like, you get warned of stuff like this, and Major League Baseball players do have references to call. If something like this happens, like, you should just call right away and do this. But if you're caught up in something, like you're saying, possibly Clase, it could be anything. It could be, and again, this is not it's not talking specifically to this situation, but here's some examples of what could happen. Your infidelity or your anything that is compromised or you don't want people to know about that these guys find out, they can just threaten you and say, do this or else. That's what you're saying? The only pushback I have on that in this particular case is that Clase, they said, brought Luis Ortiz into it.
Well, because there's like finder fees and stuff. Yeah,
that's weird to me.
Yeah, so there's a big case of this South African cricket. Anzi was his name. He was like as big as Nelson Mandela. He was a captain of South African cricket. They couldn't play international sports because of apartheid for a long time, and then they finally could, and he was like their hero. And they got their hooks in him because he did like spot fixing, and then they would pay him to get someone else to spot fix as like, a pyramid scheme in the way, and like get his friends. But I'm not excusing players here at all. I'm trying to paint an actual picture of how it happens, because I saw too many people being like, for $5,000, and I'm like, no, dude, no, it's not like he did this on his own for $5,000.
He's made bad decisions before too, Emmanuel Clase. He's been a steroid guy.
Yeah.
He took the upfront money in one of those deals like that. So there is some weird stuff going on. I agree with you that there is most likely a much larger picture that isn't being shown. But he's been questionable this entire time.
Yes, but that's not honest. Like, it would be more money that they didn't account for or whatever.
Okay, so how do we combat this? And I think we're going to get a lot of questions. We get this in the comments all the time. Like, hey, you guys promote gambling sites. It's one of our lead advertisers. Like, so how do you go about talking about stuff like this and still promoting that? I want to get your take on that. And then I have some suggestions for gambling sites, and I'm curious, and I'll just throw those out there first before we get into your answer. I think we got to up the age restriction. That's my thing. It's 18 right now, and it's too young. Isn't it 18 or is it 21? Because either way, it's too young. I think Rob's checking out right now. Either way, I think we got to start moving things back to 26. That's like the commonly known, your frontal cortex is fully developed at 26, and like you've gone through some things. I really do think we should push a lot of things back to that age, and people are going to hate that, but
that's pretty old. I mean, but Trev, hold on.
I'm curious.
Before we go on fixes, I think people are going to hate that I say this because and we can talk about our partnership with in our relationship as a company with gambling, but from 2000 to 2018, there was a handful of like cases where people got in trouble. It's a little bit like, now that we are able to DNA test, more murders are being caught. It doesn't mean there's more murders happening. It is so much easier to catch people gambling now because they have all the systems. Like, if you look at the Ipe situation, that was hot tips to journalists. If you look at Pete Rose, that was tips getting tipped off. If you look at Steve Donahue, they were investigating the mob and found his name in a receipt. There was no way just to have an algorithm catch it. Like, and there was, according to the U.S. integrity guy, Matt Holt, CEO, he's like estimated $150 billion was being exchanged in gambling rings.
You're talking like illegal bookies.
Illegal bookies.
Yeah,
like, this was happening.
It's been
happening like crazy. Yes. Just because we're catching them now doesn't mean it wasn't happening before. They're just using legal sites with actual tracking and authorities. So it's a paradox, because on the public side of the world, I that's a conversation you're having of like, how do we like mitigate the people that forming an addiction and are addicted? But on the professional side of sports, and you're saying it's all across sports, yeah, because it's probably been all across sports for years and they had no way to track it. And now, as legal gambling is making the illegal gambling ring smaller and harder to access. Like people are using this and you can track it way more. Like I was just reading all these articles on this. Like, yeah, we estimate that this has been happening forever, especially like little ways like this. So that's the one thing on the professional athletes side is like, I don't think this is new. Like Torpedo Mercado, the umpire, like,
man, I forgot who was it? Pat Hoberg?
Yeah, Pat Hobert. And these guys, like, and Ipe and David Fletcher was part of the Ipe illegal ring. People forget that. He introduced them. Like, this has been happening like crazy and going undetected. Because the only way it got to the public or to investigators was a hot tip. And it had to be like a huge case. Like Pete Rose or Ipe.
It's easier to prove
Donahue.
now is what you're saying.
Yeah, much easier to prove and find because all they do is be like, holy shit, we just got a $30K bet on a first pitch of the inning. We've never gotten that much on a first pitch of an inning. Let's investigate. You know what I mean? Like it's much easier to prove. But on the public side, that's a different conversation.
Yeah, my thoughts on it are the addictive nature of it. And there's so many things out there that you can say are addictive that we just gloss over.
Yeah, there's alcohol ads on buses.
Yeah, I know it's a slippery slope, and I hate using that term, but it truly, truly is. I honestly, like, I think the driving at 16 is insane, dude.
Wow.
Like, I am so out on that. So maybe that's just my personal thought is let's move all of these things.
Yeah, well, all of those laws were for like all those ages, and it's just like true. If you look at like societal studies, we are becoming adults much later in life than when you had to go till the field and take care of the family and all
18
that.
18 for driver's license. I'm like, I will vote for that today.
You got to drive Teddy a lot.
Eventually, no one's going to be driving anyway, and I'm so happy about that, Jimmy. You have no idea.
I see those robots delivering food, and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck, dude?
Those are interesting. I saw one in a snowstorm just being like, oh, no.
That's crazy to me.
So I don't know. I don't know where we're getting into this. I know people want to always ask us about it, and I was like, you know what? I asked you before, and should we talk about this? And you were very open about it. So yeah, kind of why we're here.
The way that like industries work is there's a new something that's getting into all this investment money, and they got to go spend on marketing plans, and that creates a bunch of new stuff. So like, we don't exist if we don't partner with DraftKings and they don't allow us to do what we're doing. That doesn't mean. Like there's been times where I'm like, I don't want to do that style read. I don't want to do that. Like there's things that I don't love about it, but it's also like, I'm not in charge of, all of that. And in the ways it's a partnership, and there've been like, we've worked together very closely on things. There's ways that I would want them to change the marketing. Just like, cigarettes, they changed the way you market them. I think that was Clinton, right? That was his administration. Cause I remember in the mid-90s, they raised prices and they restricted advertisement. Like, Joe Camel, Joe Cool or whatever couldn't be.
I was going to say the Camel. I remember the Camel.
Yeah, like cigarette ads used to be everywhere, and then they were only allowed. There's all these restrictions around it. I think there's probably something that you need to look in there, or like every 3 years, every couple of years, you should check in on how is this being marketed? And there's certain ways that they market. Like, I don't think I don't know if this gets me in trouble. I hope it doesn't. It's just my true opinion. I don't think they should be able to promote specific bets, like parlays. Like this is if you make your own, that's fine. Or just like as they make them, but like being like to me, bet responsibly and take the parlay of the day is they collide with each other.
Agreed. I agree with that. And I last thing before I think we move on and probably say our goodbyes here. A lot of guys are coming out now about threats that they receive online from these. That also has been happening for quite some time. I used to get letters. I've gotten letters of like threats just sent to the clubhouse.
Yeah, it just was a lot.
It's
Yeah, I mean,
just,
people
again, I
used
think
to-
it's just easier to get in touch with an athlete now. I
Yeah.
do think there needs to be something done to kind of stop that. And maybe it is getting rid of like in-game prop bets. I think that's what the NFL is trying to do. The Major League Baseball said they wanted to limit the amount that you can do. There's something there. I think the biggest point and the best point you made there was we need to continue to check in on the industry.
Yeah.
Like every year, hey, what's working, what's not working, what could we do better? It could be advertising, it could be the types of bets, it could be the age. That's my thing. But as long as we're doing that, I think that's the necessary action that needs to be taking place right now. Is let's continue to look at this, not just every once in a while, but like let's set a time and go over like industry standard type stuff.
Yeah.
I think we've taken enough of your time. Your voice does sound like it's getting better, so hopefully that'll continue
Yeah.
throughout the day.
I think Robinson Cano's in the office too, just to let you know.
I mean,
What do you know? Robbie Cano.
he is one of the smoothest baseball players of all time.
It's true.
Unbelievably smooth. Yeah, he's taken a lot of hits away from me, and that's a flex for me. How about that right there?
We should have found some videos of that.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, people miss you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And anytime you want to stop on by, you can.
Jake's gonna
Just send Jake to the casino, and then you and me just do the show.
Jake's gonna come back wearing some tight fitting clothes. All Italian now.
Jake sucks. I don't know if Italians do tight fitting anymore.
No?
No, they're just fashion forward. So whatever kind of.
I think they're all skinny and in shape, so they wear clothes that fit them. We're
I
like,
think that, the wide leg pants are in. I'm going to Japan. I'm gonna just wait till the style that I come back.
I already picture it. It looks good.
It's gonna be ridiculous. I'm almost 40. I can't be dressing this way anymore.